Chapter 22, we are learning this form. Is called名詞修飾形。名詞修飾形。Okay. 修飾形。Okay. Or in my class, I usually call it MSS. Easier to okay, it's called English is called noun-modifier form. English is called noun-modifier form. Okay, English is called noun-modifier form. Okay, so until now, what we have learned so far, for example, if I say watashi wa KFC, oh, okay, maybe I don't use watashi wa, let's use Tanaka-san. Tanaka-san wa KFC o tabemashita, right? So this one is the action, correct? Because I want to say, but if I want to say the Tanaka-san that ate KFC, right? Or if I want to say the KFC that Tanaka-san ate. So all this is part of your MSS. Okay. So when you're doing this, because you're talking about the Tanaka-san and you're talking about the KFC, all this all become a noun, which is in this case I'm talking about Tanaka-san ka or KFC, right? So how do we change from here? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, let's see, maybe I put it a bit bigger. Okay, so step one is always ask yourself. Okay, always ask yourself. Here, how many nouns are there? There is two, right? One is the Tanaka-san, and then the other one is the KFC. Okay, the other one is the KFC. So two nouns means I will have two kind of modification. One is just now the one I talked about, the Tanaka-san who ate the KFC. The other one is the KFC that Tanaka-san ate, right? So from here, okay, I will tell myself, okay, now let's say, for example, I want to talk about the KFC, right? So what I do is I will move the KFC to the back. Okay, so here, okay, the KFC will come down. Okay, when you do this, what happens is that the particle that comes after the noun that you bring down will disappear. Okay, so this one will disappear. Okay, and then you still have your Tanaka-san wa, right? So you bring down also. Okay, you bring it down. Okay. So now the sentence become, is still Tanaka-san, but instead of wa, it will become ga. Why is that so? Okay. Can you all think of why Tanaka-san wa become Tanaka-san ga? Because now, right, your now, because you bring down the KFC, right, the KFC becomes the topic, which is why actually over here, right, there is actually a invisible wa. that is an invisible wa. Which is why you cannot have two wa in a sentence for now. So what happened is that instead of Tanaka-san wa, because earlier on the topic was Tanaka-san, right? Now it becomes Tanaka-san ga. Okay, and then the last part is this part. Okay, you have the green. Okay, then what about tabemashita? Same thing, you bring down. Okay, and instead of tabemashita, you have to use your plain form, tabeta. Okay, then the whole sentence is complete. So this one will be the Tanaka-san that ate. Sorry, the KFC that Tanaka-san ate. Okay, so remember, go back and watch the recording again. Later on. Can? Okay, now let's take a look at the next sentence. Okay, so this one I save it first. Okay, now let's go back to the same sentence. So Tanaka-san wa KFC o tabemashita. Okay. Okay. Okay, so earlier on we have the KFC. I brought down the KFC. So now I will choose to bring down the Tanaka-san, right? Okay, so I bring, oops. Okay, I will bring Tanaka-san, Tanaka-san down. Okay, so what happened is because I bring down, then the particle will disappear. The particle will disappear. Okay. Then after that, now you're left with this whole phrase, right? Tanaka-san, KFC o tabemashita. You bring the whole thing down. Okay, so it will become KFC o tabeta Tanaka-san. The Tanaka-san that ate KFC. Okay, so far so good for this one. Okay. Remember to go back and watch the recording. This one very important. Okay, so now let's take a look at the forms first. Sorry, let me go through the forms with you first. Okay, assuming that your bag is a meishi, your bag is a noun. Okay, so what should come before the noun? You should have your dictionary form, okay, noun form, ta form, e adjective. Okay, noun adjective. Okay, for this one you need to add a na. Okay, if you recall, when did we learn this? When did we learn the na? Shit, something is wrong. Okay, let's try again. Okay, noun form, ta form, e adjective. Okay, now adjective. Okay, when did we learn this? Actually, we learned this in chapter 8. Remember? Kile na hito. And then, if it's a meishi, okay, if it's a meishi, so here you put a na. Okay, if it's a名詞, then here you put the note. Okay, this one can you guys copy down the right hand side one? Copy down somewhere, either in the notes or in the book also can. Okay, let's continue. So, right, you know that for this one, why is it no? It's actually what you learned in your chapter 1. Your chapter 1. Okay, so this one I say also. Okay, shit. I think it overwritten. Okay, so for example, if I want to say the book that children read. Okay, how would I say this sentence? The book that children read. So the focus at the back should be the horn, right? Okay, then the front. Kodomo. Kodomo ga yomu. Yomu. Okay. What about the book that children doesn't read? Kodomo ga yomanai hon. Okay. Oh. Okay, the book that I read yesterday. So same thing, always look at the back first. On, then after that. Okay. Yesterday. Kino. Yon. Da. The book that I read yesterday. Okay, the book that I did not read yesterday. So it will be Yoma Nakata. So that's why 20 and 22 is related. If you know 20 and 22 should be easy.
So it's almost no, yeah, other than really, it's just almost like what literally translated.
Yes, correct. Oh, but this one, this is a simple one. Okay, this is simple one. Okay, I'm just going through the sound example inside the book because later on we'll have the more complicated one. Okay, the person that eats breakfast. So move to the back first. The hito come in, right? Okay, then after that, asagohan o taberu hito. Okay, so the person that does not eat breakfast, doesn't eat breakfast, tabenai hito, right? Then of course you have the tabeta hito and the tabenakata hito. Okay, the place where I am living now. So go to the back first. Tokoro. Okay, watashi, ima sunde iru tokoro. If you want to put the watashi, then the watashi should be here. Ima watashi ga sunde iru tokoro. Okay, yeah. But if let's say you're talking to a friend, right, then you don't need to have your watashi. Oh? Okay. So if I want to say the place where no one lives. So same thing, look at the back first. Tokoro. Okay, no one lives. Dare mo sunde inai tokoro. Okay, the place where no one lives. Okay, so now if I want to say, okay, this is a magazine. So this is quite a simple sentence, right? So kore wa zashi desu. Right? But if I want to say this is a magazine that women read. So you don't look at the whatever there is. Don't look at the kore, and the korewa and the zashi will still be there. Oh, right? But you focus on the inside. So when you see, right, treat it as if like this is not there and the zashi is not there as well. Okay. So korewa onna no hito ga yomu zashi. Okay, can? Or should have the desk, because the original sentence has the desk as well. You see, over here you have the desk, right? So this part over here, okay, this part over here is used to modify. Let me see, I can draw the annotation. Okay, this part over here is used to modify this zashi. Okay, but when you see it as a whole, you treat this whole thing as one noun by itself. So this is a page 188. 188. Page 188. 188. Okay, I'm at number 2. On number 2. Okay, so when you see, you treat this zashi as the zashi by itself, or treat the onna no hito ga yomu zashi, right? That one, the onna no hito ga yomu is used to modify the zashi. Wakarimasu ka? If you remember earlier on the example we did, women read zashi. So if I move the zashi down, then the onna no hito will be onna no hito. Okay, I think I see some blur face already. Okay, so let me push this to the top first. Okay. Okay, so this is the original sentence, right? Okay, now let's take a look at the original sentence, which is women read books. So onna no hito wa zashi o yomimasu. Okay, so far this one. Okay, so what I do, because now I want to talk about the zashi, right? So I move the zashi down. Sorry, wait. I'm going to move this. Okay. Okay. So the zashi, right? I move it to here. Can understand? Oh, then what happens is the onna no hito. Okay, the onna no hito become onna no hito, right? And then the wa becomes ga. And last but not least is my yomimasu. Yomimasu, right? I move it to the top. Understand how it works? Okay, I understand. Okay, let's try a few sentences and see whether you all can understand or not. Okay, first sentence is Kimura-san. Kimura. Okay, or maybe let's Afik-san. So Afik-san wa KFC o kaimashita. Okay, so this is one sentence. Okay, so by default you should have two, because two nouns, right? So you have two different sentences, right? Okay, now let's try the second one. Irfan-san wa Nihon e hikimashita. Okay. So try these two sentences first. Okay, the transformation for these two sentences. So now I'm going to make the sentence more complicated. Okay, Afik-san wa KFC o kaimashita. So now I change it to Afik-san wa Bugis de KFC o kaimashita. So because there is three nouns, so what will happen? You should have three different sentences. Oh. So same thing for this one. Okay, I do one by one first. So, okay, the first sentence will be Afik-san. Okay, let's move the KFC to the back first. So Afik-san wa will become Afik-san ga. Okay, Bugis de katta KFC, right? This is one. Okay, then the second one will be I move. Okay, maybe let's move Bugis. I move Afik-san to the back first. So Afik-san, okay, then the wa disappear, right? Then Bugis de KFC o katta Afik-san. Okay, so far so good. Okay, last one is the Bugis. So what happened? I move the Bugis to the back. Bugis de. Okay, sorry, the de will disappear. Okay, then after that, Afik-san ga KFC o katta Bugis. Okay, so but the three different sentences, all different meaning. The first sentence is the KFC that Afik-san bought at Bugis. Okay, the second one will be the Afik-san that bought the KFC at Bugis. And then the last one?
The Bugis where Afik-san bought.
Let's see. Okay, so with this, right? Okay, when you all see this sentence, right? Don't treat it as if it's like it's separate. Treat it like everything is okay. So I'm going to just move this back to Microsoft Paint so you can see the difference. So the first sentence, Afik-san ga katta, Afik-san ga Bugis de katta KFC. So this whole blue part, right, is actually modifying the KFC. Okay, next. Okay, Bugis de KFC o katta Afik-san. So again, same thing. This whole red part is modifying the box. Okay, and last one is the Bugis. Okay, and then I must have the arrow. Okay, and then the arrow. Okay, so can I still make modifications to this sentence? Actually, still can, as long as there's a noun, or as long as there's a noun. Okay, but that we'll come back to it later. I will put the back part first. Wa 美味しいです。So the KFC that Afiq-san bought at Bugis is delicious. Okay, or okay, Bugis で KFC を買ったアフィさんは26歳です。Okay, or the last one isアフィさんが KFC を買ったブギスは賑やかです。The Bugis where Afiq-san bought the KFC is lively. Okay, can see how it works now?
In this case, the front part, I'm just gonna call it now. Even though it's
The which color?
the
Green line?
yeah, the green line. Even though it's like the whole noun, like the whole green line,
Yeah.
it's in past tense. The behind part doesn't matter.
Yes, the behind part doesn't matter because the kata is modifying the Bugis.
It's just stating
That
where
unless you every day you buy KFC at Bugis, then it will be Kawu. But I'm saying that the where is lively? Oh, the Bugis where Afiq-san bought the KFC is lively. Or means now it's still lively. But I'm saying the Bugis is I'm talking about action that happened in the past. Okay, so you have to treat it as like it's two separate entities. Okay, but when you see the whole noun that time, okay, you see this as one full noun by itself. Understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, you treat it as one whole noun by itself. Okay, so actually when you see it that time, right, it will be, so when you're doing some sort of modification, right, it looks something like this. So let me put this first. Okay, what actually happens is that when you are looking at the sentence, somehow or other, right, this whole part is actually being removed away. So you don't see that it's actually you see as it's Bugis.
The main topic
it's still Bugis. Yes, correct. The front is just correct. So this kind of modification is what we call one modification. Means one whole sentence, one whole part in front only modify one noun. Okay, so one modification. In N2, you need to learn at least up to 5 modifications. Yes, in one sentence. Like this is considered only one. Okay, so now we are going on to do 2 modifications. Okay, I'm going to use back the same example. I'll use this one as I use the one in blue as example. Okay, so from here, right? Okay, I'm going to draw a line down. Okay, where is my blue? Okay, so how do I say Bugis is lively? Okay, so Bugis wa nigiyaka desu.
So you replace Bugis at
right? Oh, okay. So can you all tell me what happened after this? If I want to say the lively Bugis, then okay. So now this portion I will add in the nigiyaka na Bugis. Oh, so the whole sentence now become Afiq-san ga nigiyaka na Bugis de katta KFC wa oishii desu. Okay, so this is considered 2 modification already. So how can do 3? Can. So do what? Oh, which one? On Afiq-san. Okay. So now I will move Afiq-san down. Okay. So Pasir Ris. Wait, sorry, I forgot. Wait, let me do this longer. Okay, Afiq-san lives in Pasir Ris. So Afiq-san wa Pasir Ris ni sunde imasu, right? So from here, how do I make it? How do I make, if I move Afiq-san in front, then the wa will disappear, right? So Pasir Ris ni sunde iru Afiq-san. Okay, I make this a bit smaller a bit. Okay, so now the sentence becomes Afiq-san, Pasir Ris ni sunde iru Afiq-san ga nigiyaka na Bugis de katta KFC wa oishii desu. So this one is your 3 modification already. Can go to 4? Can, where? Okay, you want to say KFC? Can. Okay, yeah, so what you want to talk about the KFC? You still can talk about KFC, right? Because, oh, good. Okay, KFC is famous. So, okay, so you may not KFC, right? Oh, so I move this, okay. So now the sentence becomes Pasir Ris ni sunde iru Afiq-san ga nigiyaka na Bugis de katta yuumei na KFC wa oishii desu. How many modification? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can 5? What do you think? Can you have 5 modifications? Okay, I just put in the number first, so we know which one is. Okay, so this is your number 1 modification. Okay, this is your number 2 modification. Okay, then this is your number 3. Okay, modification, and this whole thing is number 4 modification.
The 5, the last part?
No, no. Any idea?
Is it the whole thing?
No. You see, right, over here now there's a Pasir Ris, right? So now you have one more noun already. So you can okay, in the Pasir Ris. Okay, so maybe you want to say, okay, Pasir Ris is in the east of Singapore. So how would the sentence? So I move the Pasir Ris to the back, right? Then it become Singapore no higashi. So ni aru. Do you understand why it's ni aru? Because it's arimasu. So Pasir Ris wa Singapore no higashi ni arimasu. Also that's why becomes Singapore no higashi ni aru Pasir Ris. Okay, so this one become your fifth modification already. Or your fifth modification. Okay, can you have the sixth one?
Singapore.
No, before you even do Singapore, Singapore is the 20th or 20, yeah, the 20th. Okay. You can still talk about Pasir Ris, right? The Pasir Ris is what? Pasir Ris, a lot of people. Okay, so, okay, I will draw one line or use orange. Okay, Pasir Ris has lots of people. So Pasir Ris wa hito ga oi, right? So it becomes hito ga oi Pasir Ris. Okay, then this is your number 6 modification already. So シンガポールの東にある人が多いパスリスに住んでいるアフィクさんが賑やかなブギスで買った有名な KFC. Okay, so you see from one sentence how it becomes such a complicated sentence. But actually what they want to talk about just the KFC. The front, but sometimes in a higher level passage, right, they will have this kind of modification because they want you to understand who is the one that do it, where is he from. Okay, but in Japanese, this is very common. This is very common. You must have at least up to 6 or 7 modification. Can you have the 7th one? If I don't want to use the Singapore rule, can I use the 7th one? Yes, correct. I modify the Bugis. So I can say something like next to lavender. So the sentence will become something like シンガポールの東にあるパスリスに住んでいるシンガポールの東にある人が多いパスリスに住んでいるアフィクさんがラベンダーの隣の賑やかなブギスで買った有名な KFC は美味しいです。
Once you have the lavender, you can modify the lavender.
Yes, so the sentence go on. So you can actually have up to 20 modifications. Actually more lah, as long as you every time you add in a noun. Okay. Okay. You can see. So but for your right, for practice purposes, I think up to 5 is enough. Okay, this one is a okay, let me print this for you guys. Okay, I think this is a very good example. Okay, I think I will save it first.